Take us with the coach.
Action.
Mashai coach.
Coach,
Umazolu. That should be the first. Our cheese boy.
probably having some vessel of task.
Okay. Oh, angaphinde sir.
Coach.
Yes, Shaba.
Coach, the cliche game of two halves. We had dominance, complete dominance in the first half, according to how I saw it. But at some stage, I kept on saying, should it go to half time? When the second half comes around, depending who's strategizing more than them, quicker than the other, and who's adapting. You lost the game in the second half, but it was your game for the taking. Where did you go wrong?
I think you're right, especially after 25, 30 minutes. The first part of the game, we're still not attached to the game. We struggled. We didn't start very well up until maybe 25, 30 minutes or so, and then we started ticking. And at that moment, I think it went to a point where I remember a couple of chances, maybe 2 or 3. The one that comes out clearly, Jali, after I throw in interplay and all that. The one where it happened under commotion. So he had 2 chances, one after the other. Excuse me. We also had another entry, a ball played across the goal mouth, and we couldn't get to the end thereof. I thought up front we didn't allow the ball to stick so that we can enjoy the support and play so that we create a clearer goal scoring chance. That was more of the story of the first half, but much better after 30 minutes. Then second half got a little bit different. But even with the first half, from a technical point of view, we realized that they were also building from the back, and it gave us a nightmare because there's ways in which we say, okay, how do we press from on top? Now the positioning of the strikers in the first instance, we had to manipulate that they change the form and in the manner in which they position in the press. After manipulating that, then we came out because then Bruce was forced to play long balls diagonal to the full backs. He didn't start from the center backs anymore, which then allows you to have competition for the ball because any high ball is 50-50, we can compete. Sometimes they went out and then we got the ball and got to play a little bit better. Second half it was the same, but the difference in the second half is that there was more energy, there was more press, and smart enough in every attack we had. There were moments where I felt they were smart enough to commit fouls. Maybe trying to break our momentum, but there had been moments where I felt Moroka Swallows had beautiful passage of play, played some good football. You could see what the intentions were. The effort was there. The only thing is that get to the end of all the construction of that so that we can score. And their goal as well. It's unfortunate that anyway, when you play football, goals are scored from mistakes. We were trying to build from our right side. AJ and Keenan Phillips managed to bring the ball forth. But in the process of construction of attack, we lost it, and then on a counter attack, they caught us with a diagonal ball on the other side of the wing back who had gone higher, and then we conceded 1-0. So that's how we lost the match. But all in all, I felt we played well, and we did all that we needed to do. We had gone through all that we had planned. The only thing is that we couldn't just get a goal today. So congratulations to Kaizer Chiefs.
Coach, you're the coach from South Africa. You spoke about trying to build from the back. There were a few nervy moments in the first half, and then finally in the second half, got caught out the situation that you just described now. As a coach, when you look at that situation, where does it put you? Because you see that, okay, maybe in the long run it will be effective for you guys, or do you then think for the match situation now that, okay, let me change the game and let's just go along? How do you decide what to do?
You gotta stay true to your identity and to the process. You need help, Tata?
Yes.
So can we wait for you because you're gonna miss a lot of content?
Yes, it was the question.
Ungapanic zakulinda.
Yeah, it was the question.
Cela colleagues zakho ukuthi bakulinda. I've never seen Veli le panic like this. And this happens in football. Can you imagine the match is on, you have to sort out a mess? This is what happens in football. So he must feel it. You are Soweto, man.
You can hear the content that's coming.
Don't worry, Velile. The greatest
Coach,
test.
not you.
Eh?
Not you, maybe. With
I
your
mean,
reaching.
maybe the guy panics when he sees me. Relax, Velile, man. Listen, it's life. You don't need to stress. You will get everything together again. Otherwise, when you start wanting to fix things at high speed, you're gonna make mistakes. Ufana na iNews Africa, xa ndibuza nge-build up. Xa unophenika pha ubuild up uzenza ama-mistakes.
It's broken.
Madoda ndicela silinde nje uvelile, ne? Please, guys.
Something is not clean.
Please.
There's something.
Match the work right?
Whereas even just telling it. Yakusokolisa le mpahla. Right, back to our business. Sorry about that. I think, to be honest, you need to stay true to your process. And I wish the cameras were not on, and it was an environment where you and I could be talking, and I would tell you that you have to do that. Guts. It must be courageous. You should have brass guts. You must have strong. That doesn't come easy. But you also translate that to your team. Because if as a coach you panic, your players are going to panic. But all you say right from the onset, you say, listen, we're going to build from the back. We are going to be safe and secure. We are going to add numbers. We are going to create angles. Everybody must be aware. And all the people involved in the build-up structure must be connected one with the other. So that if that, then what? If this, then... So they know all that. So people who've never been with us at training, who've never seen us practice these, will think that, hey, what are they doing? We know very well what we are doing. But the secret is when to pass. You can go to the best player in the world. If they don't know when to pass, it's not going to work. But we know when to pass. Which is why when you sit there, they say, hey, wait, they are putting under pressure. Oh yes, it's coming, pass. What we say, we hear, we want you to press. Just when you press, that's the moment you want to pass. Because you are moving away from the line of defense. Now as you step up, moving out of the line, we occupy the space, we come out. How many successful build-ups we had today? I think 98, 99%. And some of them were borderline panic. We didn't panic. You have to be courageous when you play like this. And it is not Moroka, it's not only Moroka Swallows who goes through that. All teams that build from the back. You can go check teams, whether international, wherever. Build-up play needs people who are brave beyond any sense. Borderline insanity. Because there's a very thin line between bravery and stupidity. Sometimes you end up thinking, but these guys are stupid, how can they? No, they are very brave. And we are confident because we know exactly what to do. And we don't change, even if we are chasing a game, because logic says, if you start the ball at the back, you move it into the midfield, you can reach the final third in possession. And you are still in full control of the ball. And when you have the ball, the opponent can't score. But the opposite says, you are rushing to get a goal, you take the ball, you put it in the air for competition, they're going to win it back. In no time before your defense steps up, the opponent has taken the ball, they are back at you, you concede in the second goal. So people must understand that from a thinking point of view, you think it's much easier to send the ball in the air, but it comes back quicker. But if you are in control, go with the ball. It will go there in 20 seconds too much, maybe 6 seconds it's gone there. It comes back at you faster. But you can take 20 seconds in a build-up to reach that side and still find an outcome. So we choose to build so that the ball is in our hands, we're in control, we dominate, and we dictate how the ball has to go, unlike competing for the ball when it's 50-50 in the air.
Coach, you're nearing the halfway mark of the season, almost 15 games. Is a lot of what you're trying to achieve through repetition? And secondly, for example, like when you were at Sundowns, like Mvala and Kekana weren't that confident ball playing defenders like they are now. So is that repetition coming through to Swallows now as the season progresses?
The only way to reach a stage of automatization is through repetition. As you close your eyes and open them, you are not even conscious of that because of the number of times you had been closing your eyes, opening them. It had been so repetitive that you don't even feel it. So you have to perform and act to a stage where you even forget how to do it wrong, that it becomes part of you. Human beings have intelligence. Animals have instinct. Now, a human being who may not necessarily have the intelligence to manipulate the ball must be drilled and trained to an extent where their ability in application of the skill must be instinctive than based of intellect. And somebody can survive in sports through instinct. But the challenge is going to be when you take them out of their comfort and put them in another environment where the environment requires a different application of the printed ability in the instinct to then perform there, then becomes a problem because then they have to adapt to this change. But that adaptation won't happen because their level of intelligence is not as soft, but they are stronger on instinct. So I think through training, repetition and all that, it develops mastery. There's also a 10,000 hour rule that you guys know about, whether it's through violin or guitar or whatever. The more you repeat to something, the higher the chances that you will succeed. That's what we do. And the more you also play with players and they understand how you wish them play. And at the back of that, in the process, then you show them the outcomes in certain instances as a positive reinforcement. It does consolidate the work you're doing. You cannot imagine trying to build from the back and it keeps bombing, you conceding, keeps bombing, you conceding. You are going to abandon that. And we have seen that happen with Man United. The coach was trying to build from the back and he realized, he's a hell of a good keeper. But goodness me, he's not as comfortable building from the back. He had to adapt, you change. Sometimes you don't play the way you want as a coach. You play according to the quality, the strengths and weaknesses of the players you have. And it's amazing that we've got Jali. Jali is the master of smelling when to get close, when to make that diagonal pass. And then we've got Vusi, who has then developed that telepathy and understanding with the other partner center back. And we've got Akpei as well. So all those four, they have a full understanding. And the next line is in anticipation of as soon as, then. So these are all triggers in terms of how you move on. Maybe then final third, where there has to be clarity, where you have to be incisive and be ruthless and all that is where we are like. But whether you're referring to Mamelodi Sundowns or referring to any player, even at Moroka Swallows, repetition is mother of success.
Yeah. Coach.
You're right, camera go.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Hard luck on the result.
Okay.
What would you say about the progress of your season so far? And I'm talking because this is a team that is normally trying to move away from the bottom. But when you look at what you can achieve, I think you are left with 5 matches before the end of the year, which includes Sundowns, Pirates,
Big matches.
Arrows, big matches and super teams in the top half of the table. So what can you say about the progress of your season so far and in terms of what you want to achieve come the AFCON break?
Data has just given us a confirmation of the work and the investment we've had with the team, which then becomes our point of reference. Now, what I mean by that is that out of 10 matches, you were on 18 points. So you just played 11, it's fine. Out of 10 matches, 18 points. As I said, when we had the Cullen Black Label knockout competition press conference, when we went to pre-season, in our strategic planning, we said we need to get 2 points a match. So after playing 10 matches at 2 points, you needed to be at 20. We were at 18. So we still have that 2-point deficit. So when you look at it, the amount of work that has been done, in terms of performance, you can tick the box. The team comfort in playing attractive attacking football, you can also tick that box. Can you play a game that people can buy a ticket and watch Moroka Swallows? I think with utmost humility, you can tick that box. And there had been also results. I don't think we have lost matches away. We've been doing very well away. Only that back home here, we need to be more ruthless. And when you look at all those, you think the amount of work that we had been doing from a Potchefstroom in camp and all that, up until now, I think we can look back and be proud of it. But then that says to you, then throwing forward, under circumstances, what then can you change? There's lots of areas of improvement that we need to work on, but so far, so good. Even though we say now we're playing match number 11, we needed to have 22 points, then it means on the deficit of 2, we then need to add these ones again from 18 to 21. We still need to win 3 matches. we need to get 3 points so that we're intact. So one match takes us to 21, 22, and then we are still in line. And we don't panic. The one thing about us, which I said years back, it's process. If you want to be part of process, in fact, let me start the other way around. If you want to be part of the outcome, a positive outcome, you must be prepared to be part of the process. But more often than not, you find people wanting positive outcome without being part of process. And the process does not always yield positive milestones. There are times where you get negatives and all that in the process. But you find that because people are just obsessed with positive outcome, then they abandon the process because in between the hiccups and all that are not a reflection of the ultimate outcome. So what is important is that, okay, we are going to the outcome. It's going to be positive. But can you be part of the process? Most people don't want to be part of the process, but they're looking forward to the outcome. So we want to be part of the process with all the negatives, ups and downs, pros and cons, but we know that we are trying to develop a brand of this nature. And the direction looks good.
Good evening, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach, Andy Jali, he continues to redefine expectations of CDMs. Sometimes it looks like he's overconfident because there's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. What's your message to Andy Jali? Do you speak to him separately? Do you speak to him with the team? The arrogance that he has, how do you translate that arrogance to the rest of his teammates? Because I think he's probably the last breed of the type of midfielders that South Africa will ever see. Do you speak to him a lot away from the team? What's your conversations mostly when it's just
you don't teach a lion to hunt. You don't teach a crocodile to bite. It is in the instinct of the crocodile to just be monstrous. Andile is Andile. Anyone who would want to define him otherwise now, even if I were to start thinking of how can I break Andile down now in terms of explanation, I would just be repeating what we all know. The guy is phenomenal. The only thing that we worked on is that he must get top shape. Because fortunately, I had been at Sundowns with him. And the number of matches we played Sundowns is insane. I think in December they're going to be playing 10 matches. 10 matches in 4 weeks, that's crazy. So I don't know. So what was happening there was that it's just match. There's no training. So with us it's a bit better because you can tap into conditioning. Now conditioning at training and also conditioning as matches, you can also give him rests in between. So it allows him to get in top shape. He's not in top shape yet, but he's better than the Andile who started with us beginning of the season, which is why you see how he plays. In terms of brains, the guy has got another level of thinking. There are certain things that he does and we learn from him. You can never teach a player when to pass the ball. How do you tell a player, okay, this is the moment to pass a ball as a PlayStation? But the guy always takes the right decisions at all times, depending on the frameworks we give to say, listen, be calm, be composed, invite the press. And we love it when you press us. We love it when you press us. When you press us, it gives us the opportunity to play. We have a problem if you don't press us. Because if you don't press us, then it means that wall is standing there. We need to move the wall, move the train. But each one of you who comes out of that wall to come here, that's what Andile does. Watch him. He would stay between the two strikers as if he's not concerned. Casemiro in Brazil at some stage, They used to call him the invisible Brazilian. If you look at CDMs, central defensive midfielders, as you put it, I think, any central defensive midfielder you see in a match, there's something wrong with them. Those people must not be seen. It's like a referee. Any referee that you remember in a match, you must know that guy was too busy. A good referee is invisible in a match. He leaves the match clean because he's not in center stage. Same with central defensive midfielders. Go to Makelele at Real Madrid. Real Madrid only realized that, but something is wrong here. After Makelele had left, they didn't know the damage it was causing because they are like elephants. They are destructive in silence. So is Jali. Go to Conte at Chelsea. Go to Diarra. Now I'm doing my head here because my brother also reminds me of that. Go to Diarra. All these defensive midfielders, the best defensive midfielders are unseen and invisible. But the minute you start seeing them, then it becomes a problem. And when did you see AJ today? I remember seeing AJ as we lost the ball and then we suffered a counter. The rest of the match, you never saw him. But the guy was causing damage of note. So my opinion, he's got the level of intelligence for a defensive midfielder. He can play anywhere and he still has it and he's great influence. We appreciate having a player of that caliber. And by the way, he's not far off. In fact, let me put it the other way around. Mokotjo from Skukune is not far from AJ at that position. If by any chance one could have a dream where the two would be playing together, you would have a hell of a great match because those midfielders are amazing on the ball. They are calm, you don't see them, but their pass breaks any possible wall that is put in front of their team. They are great players.
Coach, I think it's quite obvious that you rate Jali and Mokotjo, but currently in the national team, there's probably question marks surrounding our defense. Do you think any players in your squad could provide an impact, not get called up, but provide an impact in our defensive structure at Bafana?
I'm sure my brothers, you know me very well. Me and avoiding controversy and an unnecessary headline. Because after this comment, then it's going to be like Komphela calls for his players to be included in the AFCON squad and all that. So I have to put it so nicely that you have no chance to put a headline that's going to create some news. So center backs generally are very important. You can see from how we also try get partnerships. Whether we're going through a partnership, Kavusi, Sbia, and Keegan Allen. By the way, Keegan Allen helped us a lot in the Kosafa. The same with Mabasa, and they have not changed. So, and again, I played center back, and I know very well what it means to have a pairing that is consistent, because you develop telepathy. If you paired me with Lucas Radebe, I knew that, okay, I'll be okay. The minute you pair me with maybe Andrew Tucker, then we'd have another scenario. If you pair me with Roger Links, we have another scenario. The minute you pair me with Briggs Mudau or Brian Mate, another scenario. When you pair me with Mark Fish, so you need to have a consistent. At Free State Stars, I used to play with Tambastolo. It was solid for years. Nobody could break that, even though we had your Ronald Kandawiri, Sam Band, and all those. Central pairing is important. You need to find a consistent pairing. Let me make a reference that is just open enough. Before Van Dijk went to Liverpool, Liverpool was a mess. They were struggling. As soon as they got Van Dijk, they brought him in there, then it was stable. Go back to Man United of Sir Alex Ferguson. You had Vidic and Ferdinand, and you can still remember that. Go back to AC Milan of Franco Baresi and Costa Curta. You can name them. Go to Japstam and all those. So trying to say to Bafana, the quicker you get a pairing that is consistent and strong enough to qualify whatever has to be done, the better for you. But the more you change this and that, you don't find stability, you don't find cohesion, you don't find telepathy and understanding of the two. So I hope they do. But I think the previous match we watched, there were special circumstances and conditions, and you can't falter them. And players must make mistakes, but mistakes must not be too costly. We want to remember a South Africa that has players that you can simply count. As is now, we're still looking for a team that we can count in our sleep. that each one of us as a country, you can just come up with the first 11. If I can ask you the AFCON team, you can easily come very close to what the late Clark Parker would bring. And you could, even at club level, the best teams, if I were to say, give us a Chiefs team, give us a Sundowns team, so you need to have that. The minute you have that consistency in your team and team selection, there's a possibility of consistency in your results as well.
Macarena, please close for us.
Okay. Talking of centre backs, Jola, the nation is in mourning. We've just lost in CMB, one of he played for Bafana had a very difficult time for locally based players because you overseas based guys, you were owning that space in the national team.
Strong squad.
Papi Khomane, I know you have coached against him from your time when you started at Chiefs and Dynamos. How do you remember him?
At a personal level, I worked with Papi, the late Papi, I should say, and may his soul rest in peace, and the soul of his mom rest in peace. And I was asking my staff members, which one would you choose between the two of them, assuming that it is the inevitable, and may their souls rest in peace. That one, should the mom survive and then Papi leaves and face the trauma of that, goodness me, I lost him. He was here. Or should Papi go, in fact, whichever way, if the mom goes and Papi stays, the regret from the late Papi. Or if Papi goes and mom stays, the regret from Uma. Could it be that the Almighty said, you know what, to save both of them the pain of regret, may these souls be received by me simultaneously. Not forgetting then the struggle and the pain going through Esther, who's a great soul as well. Now, remembering Papi personally, it comes even from the father. We have a great relationship and respect with the father. Ubaba ka Papi nje, Esther is something else. At his age, he's still like fit and active and all that. A hell of a great human being. Papi was no different. When we worked at the SABC, I remember match analysis and all that, how he was brave and he had character, personality, never felt intimidated, never felt threatened, because people who feel threatened threaten others. And people who feel intimidated intimidate others. Papi had none of those. Great sense of comfort, confidence in himself, and how he conducted and spoke to me with respect. Very clear, but when there were lines to be clarified, he was never ambiguous. You could get it straight, you could know he's saying that. A great leader. And as you say, apart from a great player, great leader, a guy who stood up against top defenders who were playing in Italy, Switzerland, whatever, and he was a local. He showed the quality he had. And I'm sure part to the ceremony and celebration, in the testimony and celebrations from Orlando Pirates, they will tell you, people will be talking about him from Orlando Pirates, they will tell you about the quality of the leader in the late. He was something else. And we need more of those. And beyond football, then comes a point, did we really maximize from who he was? What football had taught him as he was growing up, did we get something in return? I'm not sure. I don't even know where Papi was before we heard the story that he's no more. And people like those should never be lost in society, because they don't only bring what they did in the past. Instead, they bring what they did in the past, including the quality of the persona they are. Papi was a great person. And I don't know, I stand to be corrected. I don't remember having heard any nasty stories about him, except the dedication and discipline that he always portrayed. Great leader.
Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you.